Buy an old house, she says. It'll be fun fixing it up, she says.
Oh, fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge. I said the word, the big one, the queen mother of dirty words, the F-dash word.
Well, it looks like Christmas came early this year, and we got a new project.
Greetings from Fairfield. We are Richard and Kendra, and we are restoring this cool old Victorian house. We found this old Queen Anne for sale on the internet and decided to buy it. So we moved from the West Coast to the cornfields of Iowa. So join us as we explore and restore this 1896 Victorian mansion.
Well, greetings from Fairfield, and welcome to Bathroom Project Remodel.
Came home and the bathroom was flooded. Had a big puddle of water downstairs, so it went all the way through the floor. And not sure, I think it's the toilet, but when we moved in, this was already curling. This was put in, I believe, in the 1960s. It was already separating curling, so I don't know if this has been a very slow leak for a long time and it finally just gave, or what. We're gonna find out. So remodeling the bathroom was not high on the priority list, but it looks like we're gonna be remodeling the bathroom.
And so just to do a quick recap, we're gonna be, we got paint to strip off of these tiles. Previous owners had painted the tile. This predates 1960. So we're gonna strip all this paint off of this. The wallpaper's curling, falling off the walls. The border's falling off the ceiling up there. Started stripping the paint off of here with some different methods. We tried different methods on this, find the best approach. So we got a good plan for this. We got to strip all the paint off of this, re-shellac that so it'll be nice and new. Obviously, we got to rip up the floor now, and hopefully that damage underneath is minimal. We won't know until we start pulling this up, but it's squishy underneath this. It is squishy underneath this. This was put in probably in the late 60s, I'm guessing. Previous owner told us that they had carpeting in here prior to that. So a little wackadoo there, but we got paint to strip off of the window casings. We got paint to strip off the door casings. We got paint to strip off the radiator. We're going to rip this toilet out, rip the floor up, which will make it easier to strip the paint and get all that done. And let's cut some time lapse and get started.
do not go in there. Woo!
Whew! All right. That was not fun. But we know where they kept the cats because, wow, when we pulled that floor up, you could tell. Had the window open all night just to get a lot of that smell out. Got a little cold. Anyway, got a little snow last night. Left that window open all night. So anyway, got the floor up. On the good side, on the plus side, I guess, not a ton of damage, right? So there's got a little rot back there. That looks older. However, there was tile back there around that drain pipe. So the bathroom originally had tile. This is a 1/4 inch plywood that is tacked on top. I'm not even sure it's 1/4 inch. It's thin and it's nailed down on top. So we'll be ripping this up next. Well, actually not next. So here's where the toilet was. Pretty sure it was leaking from that back seal, but and going down to the bottom floor. So we got a cover on that now to keep stuff from falling down the drain and keep it plugged up. It'll make it a lot easier to get the paint off the rest of the radiator. And we will probably strip all the wallpaper next and strip all the paint off the tile. These light fixtures were brass and they were painted white as well. Don't know why. Not sure how old they are, but and I don't know if we have any old pictures that show the lights. I think we might have one, so we'll take a look. I think that's how we figured out they were brass. We get all this, so all the paint stripping and all the paint, the wallpaper would come down onto this plywood. And then when we're done with all that, we'll rip the plywood back up. And then we'll be back to our original floor before we lay down the tile and put in the new toilet. Got a couple of weird holes here. I don't know what those are for. That's weird. I noticed that when I pulled it up. This toilet actually came up way too easy. So it was likely that the wax seal on there, because usually you got to kind of like work it up off of those wax seals, but this thing just pulled right up. So that was probably the culprit. That back cap on the water feed to the tank is like super rusted. So we might have had 2 leaks going on there for that. So could have been a lot worse. I mean, last week, well, actually, over the weekend, we had our Christmas house tour. This happened the next day on Monday. So could have been a lot worse. How embarrassing would that have been? We got people coming to see the house for Christmas and all our decorations, and we got a leaky ceiling down below. Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. Had about 200 people show up, a lot of which came from YouTube. So for those that came out, how's it going? Hope you liked our Christmas tour. And for those of you who got a little sneaky and thought it'd be fun to sneak up to the second floor using the servant staircase, for shame.
Shame, 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 shame.
Santa's going to be putting a lump of gold in your stocking this year. But for those that missed it, a little sneak peek of what next week's video is going to be. So one of the things we got asked a lot at the tour was how do we know what projects to work on next? It's usually pretty self-explanatory. The house just will make sure it tells you what it needs next. It's kind of funny that we're doing this bathroom because we actually started the master bathroom first. That was going to be our first project when we moved in, when we discovered that previous owners had walled over a window. We wanted to open that all back up. And we recently got back a clawfoot tub that has a really cool backstory that we can't wait to share. But we're going to be working in here next, so that's going to have to wait. So our Christmas video will be next week, which will give us time to assess and figure out the direction in which we're going here, because we haven't even picked out a wallpaper yet. And so we'll probably start with the paint stripping first while we figure out what to do in the meantime. But until that time, or until next time,